Ciao. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the mid-month check-in call. I'm so excited that we are 12.5 days through your 25-day reset. And so this session is sort of a half and half. I'm going to just whiz through a refresher of what we're doing over these 25 days for those of you who might not fully be up to speed. For those of you who've done it before, you'll know that this sort of halfway mark is a real tipping point where, funnily enough, you can actually get more results in half the month than in the full month, because it's very, very funny. Maybe procrastinating is sort of the name of the game that people talk about, like where we just kind of love to have a deadline, and we love to have a shorter deadline. So the fact that we've got half the month remaining can often be a real incentive. So I'm going to review the reset method, review your 2 goals, and then talk about challenges and setbacks, and then do a group Q&A. And as I said, this group Q&A is just for you. We're recording this just for you, and no one else is going to see it. So as the reminder, I'm Abigail Barnes, in case you've forgotten, a coach, trainer, speaker, author, talking all things productivity and well-being, author of this book, Time Management for Entrepreneurs and Professionals, which I'm sure pretty much all of you have got a copy of. So the reset method, remember, we were reviewing where we were at, evaluating what that meant, creating our new strategy for what we were going to do. Then we were executing on that and tracking that. So we have the workbook, we have the time tracking sheet in order to be able to go through this process. So in that review, we were looking where we were at. And then this is so, so important, this closing the gap part. So you already are the person that you want to be. It's just about turning up the volume on that person and then closing the gap. And you close the gap by doing less of the activities that aren't contributing to who you want to become, and more of the activities that are. So it's really about identifying, I guess the phrase they use in the corporate world is identifying what activities will move the needle and doing those activities, which kind of come from analysing what you've done. And then you are breaking your goals down into steps so that you could just piece it out day by day by day. Otherwise, it's just too overwhelming, it's too big. I personally get real sort of anxiety when I think about everything I have to do. So I'm forever writing it down, prioritizing, crossing it through, reprioritizing, just to keep on top of things. And so with your 2 goals, that is the same approach. Then it's about diving in. You'll never be ready. It will never feel right, but take a step, take a step, take a step, take a step. And maybe I talked about this before. If somebody asks you, how cold is the water? Like, should I get in? I mean, you've probably all got this example of like being on holiday or being by the pool or going swimming, and you say to the person, how cold's the water? How cold's the sea? And they tell you for themselves. So they say, oh yeah, it's fine, come in. Or they say, oh, it's freezing. And then you get in and you're like, no, it's not. So one of the interesting things in life is you are never going to know until you get in. So you are never going to feel ready. But when you get there, when you dive in, you will swim or you will sink. But that's the point of the group, is that none of us are going to let you sink. So it's about taking a step, taking action, sharing with all of us, asking us to support you and saying, this is what I'm going to do. Can you have my back? And we will. And then tracking to stay motivated and know what it is that you're doing. So these 2 goals that you were setting, remember, they might be business or career related, they might be a mind, body or health related goal, they might be a relationship goal, a boundary goal or a life goal, whatever it is that you want to work on. remembering always, always, always that your success is inevitable. What that means is that no matter how long it takes, you will succeed. Now, the point of the training and the point of us all being together and going through this is that you will succeed faster. Okay? So you will succeed if you persist, but you will succeed faster when you do it with others because of that accountability, and also because of the group energy. There is so much psychology behind what is going on in our head and that we're saying to ourselves around like other people are doing things, so I should just do it as well. And it's just really, really a very, very powerful thing to have. So challenges and setbacks, you might resonate with some of these, so I wanted to share them if you do. Remember, I said at the beginning of the program that you were going to be going on this upward climb, and you were going to make progress, and then something was going to happen, and you were going to make progress and something was going to happen. But if you notice, every something that happens, the low is always higher than the previous low. So you're always going up. Even where this is us at 12.5 days of the program, and we're still sort of almost plateauing, but now there's an opportunity to go back up again, and you're going higher and higher and higher. And the reason that this chart is in here is because we've done this program so many times before. We know what happens. People come out of the gate really hard and they get some results, and then it tails off. And then they get some more results, and then it tails off. And then they get to 12.5, which is where we are now. And they come out of this training, they're like, oh my goodness, I feel really excited. And then something happens and they tail off. But then around day 14, it picks back up again the whole way through to day 25. There are still lows, but a low is a lesson. A low is feedback. A low is a sign that we are still progressing, because without the lows, imagine it's like your heart rate. If you are in hospital and they're measuring, it's a sign that you're still alive. So we talked about this before, progress, not perfect. We are not striving to have it done amazing the first time round. We are striving to keep going, keep that progress, not the perfect. So I said this in a post the other day to somebody in the group, and I thought that I'd share it like in this training more openly with all of you. I would really love you to think of what is going on right now, but also like over the 25 days that we're together, that when something happens and it doesn't go the way you want, rather than stopping and starting and stopping and starting, you just think pause. You think, so that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I'm just going to pause. And then you hit play. And then something else comes along, doesn't go the way you want it. You hit pause, you hit play. And it sounds so simple, but what this is doing is it's reprogramming your brain, neuroplasticity. It's helping you to get into a different approach to the situations where you don't just stop. Like if a car hits a tree, it stops. But you just think, the car hits that tree, you're just going to pause. You're going to get out, and then you're going to do something else. So pause, play versus stop, start. The other analogy that I can share here is if you have ever studied or thought about oil tankers before, or container ships, it takes 30 minutes to stop one. It takes 30 minutes to start one going at the speed they want it to. It takes 30 minutes to turn one. So they have to decide in advance, I want to stop this so it can coast into the dock. I want to start this so it can leave. I want to turn this, so I need to start thinking 30 minutes before, turn. So the reason that the stop start is so relevant for us is it takes us energy to get started. So if we keep stopping, it's like a car where you take your foot off the accelerator and you put it back on again. I was in a car once with a woman who did that. And we called it kangaroo petrol because we were just going backwards and forwards. And she just kept, she wasn't the greatest driver, let's be said, but these analogies, hopefully you resonate with one of them, but pause, play when things don't go your way. So here's an interesting one to have a think about. This is the 4 stages of self-awareness. So perhaps as the pandemic has gone along, and also perhaps as you have grown and evolved as a human on this planet, you have become more aware of the things that are going on around you. Step 1. Step 2, perhaps you're more able to forgive and take ownership and say, okay, I can see the role I played in that. And then step number 3, that's when you suddenly have this light bulb moment and go, oh, aha, yeah, I get it. Step number 4 is when we then reset and we redesign. So we recognize that what we were doing, what got us here, won't get us there where we want to go. So what we were doing needs a tweak, it needs a change, it needs a redesign. But this only happens from the self-awareness that we are getting by just being more evolved humans and looking around us, looking at the world around us. Remember what I said last time we hung out about your environment, does it support your goals, and the circle, so the people you spend time with. Are they upbeat, optimistic people, or are they real negative, the cup is half full kind of people? Because who you spend time with is who you become. And if one of these people you're spending time with is yourself, then, you know, that's a real thing to think about also. It's like, am I depressing myself? And do I need to fill my mind with more positivity? Do I need to listen to more podcasts? Where can I find them? Who is a good one? And perhaps, you know, asking in the group and say, what do you listen to? What music do you listen to? What shows do you watch to keep yourself motivated and supported and inspired? Incidentally, I have a podcast live stream show called It's Your Time. And every week I interview someone who's sharing their story, their journey of how they got to where they've got to, their overcoming of adversity, whatever that might be. And it's different stories, it's different people, it's different kinds of adversity that they've all had to overcome. And the reason that I'm sharing this is to prove there is no perfect, that everybody has their own share, and that maybe one person's might be really dramatic compared to another person's, but it's not a comparison of who has had more drama in their life. It's around, does what happened to you stop you, or do you sort of keep going? So remember, in the training area, this is where all of your training is saved. Remember, we've also got in there masterclass training. The time audit training is going to be going in there this week. I didn't want to put too much in there and overwhelm you, but this training is part of our time planning program to help people who have the book and want to take their time process and journey to the next level. So this masterclass is part of that program. And it's longer than the bonus one that you would have all got when you got a copy of the book. So it really talks about the power of the time audit and how identifying where all your time is going will help you to make changes. Because it might be that you've noticed over the last sort of 12 and a half days, you've just not had time to do what you want, which is an ironic statement, but it's actually a true statement if you don't have it. It's not that you don't have it, because you do, but it's being used for other things. So the time audit helps you to identify, is this other thing something that I want or not? And if it isn't, then now I'm aware of it, I can stop doing it and start doing what it is that I want. So this training is real, like flicking a switch in your head. And when you change the way you look at time, the time you have will change. So don't forget, if you haven't downloaded it yet, you have your workbook, and that is saved in the training area as well. That workbook is 23 pages long. It has space at the back for you to take notes and to journal in there as well, so that you can keep a track of what's going on for you over these 25 days. And there is that progress tracker. So I love to cross things through when I've achieved them. So the progress tracker really works for me. Put it on your fridge, put it on the inside of your wardrobe door, put it on your desk, print out a couple of copies, put it wherever is going to remind you of what you are focusing on. If you feel like you will benefit from more support, then that is this one-to-one coaching option with me. And during that session, you will get the opportunity to run through your goals with me, review and revise them, to look at your plan and how you've broken them all down. You'll get 30 days email support as well. And then we've added a next layer for people who might want to have a weekly accountability call with me to chat it through. So there's two options there. If this is something you're interested in, let me know and I'll share that link with you. And then something super, super exciting. This has been in the background, but has come about and is being offered to you now from people asking, how can I stay in the Reset group next month if I want to do it again? Now, in the past, we just gave people the opportunity to invest, to stay in the program and stay for as many months as they wanted. But what we've done now is turned it into a whole sort of supportive program and called it the 24 goal year. Because remember, I said at the start of this program, 2 goals per month over 12 months is 24 goals. That's how you actually start achieving what you want in your life. You break it down by 2 goals per month. So this program supports you as you do that. So say if you wanted to stay for another 3 months, you would get 3 more resets. So you would get March, April, and May. You would get the accountability group that we're in with new people coming in. But because new people are coming in, the mid-month call that we are on right now probably isn't going to go deep enough for you, because they will be new to the program, but you'll have been around for a while. So there will be a 24 goal year mid-month members only Q&A call. And then there will be new monthly bonus masterclass training that will be going into the library every month. So this month we've got the time audit one. Next month we will do one around post-it notes and actually how to plan. And this is taken from my time working on big projects in the finance sector. So one of the projects I worked on was a £25 million system integration project. And we learned how to map using post-it notes. So this isn't something I've ever taught before, but I will teach it for this program. And then the final thing, this is what I'm so excited about. This one has been demanded by so many people. We're going to create a 24 goal year journal. And if you sign up to this program, you will get the journal. Now, this is going to be an amazing, lovely kind of hardback book that you can write in everything that's going on and what you're doing. This is going to be coming out later in the year. So if you sign up to the program, then that is going to be yours. 3 months, the membership would make that £28 a month. 6 months, it would be £26 a month. And if you signed up for 12 months, it would go down to £24 a month. Again, if you're interested in that, let me know and I can share all those details. But this is for those people who said, how can I stay in the reset next month? And people who've done the program before have done this, because what you find happens is you sort of get started halfway through the first month. And then the momentum builds and it's like, well, I need to stay in this group, this energy for longer. Because as I said, accountability is what is the key to your success. So remember, this is your final push. You've got this next 12.5 days before we meet up for your graduation and evaluation session, where we look back on everything that we've done. You get your certificate, we have a chat. This is your final push. If you want to post about this on social media, the hashtag is 25day reset, and all my social media accounts are in the back of your workbook. So let's go into group Q&A. I'm going to come out of this training and open the screens, and we can have a chat for the next 30 minutes about what's going on for you, what your biggest challenges are, and where you're at. Now, I appreciate Sarah isn't very well, so if all of you don't mind, if we were to hear from Sarah first, then I think that would be so good. So Sarah, over to you. How are you doing? What are your biggest challenges right now? Any questions, any observations, anything you'd like to share?
I'm doing all right on my professional goal, apart from the name of my signature course, but I know roughly what the outline of it is, and I'm just, because I know the outline, I'm waiting for the name to come to me, because I know it will. But I've got the outline down now, and I've decided roughly what it's going to be, and what kind of the precursor and the next offer, if you like, are going to be. So I'm not focusing on those yet. I'm just focusing on the main bit. So that's really good. In some ways, not being well means that I've actually got a bit more time now to do the personal goal, which is really good. So I'm actually further ahead than I thought I would be, because I've been resting. I've had the time to do it, because it's listening at the moment. I haven't got into the actual doing of the course yet. It's listening to stuff and things. So I'm quite pleased with where I am at the moment. I'm a little bit ahead of where I hope to be. So now it's just creating a really clear plan for the next 12.5 days, or 12 days after today. So that's really good.
Fantastic. Yeah. I love it.
I'm pleased.
Any questions, or are you good?
I suppose it's when things like this happen, because although I've got a bit more time, I've got absolutely no energy, and I know that the professional stuff is going to have to go on the back burner, or it's going to be on the side for a little while. And it's just how to keep the motivation going, even though I can't do much. So any ideas, welcome.
So sorry, I was reading a message. Say that question again. It's
just with not being well.
Yeah.
The steps that I planned for the professional goal won't happen in the same way, and it's really, I accept that, but it's how to do something to keep me moving forward rather than stopping. How can I pause but not stop? I suppose that's my question.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and this is going to be a bit of a spiritual answer, but there is a strategic side to it, because we're human beings, right? We're not machines. So when we understand that illness is giving us a gift, and when we get what that gift is, then we can thank it for it, and then we can say, well, I don't necessarily need this gift to continue, or need this lesson to keep going on. Like, I've got it, I've heard it. And what illness often does, or what it's done sort of in my experience, is it slows you down. It gives you the opportunity to rest, where perhaps you might not have been prioritizing rest, and maybe it is something that's necessary. And also it gives you that opportunity to slow down on trying to achieve certain things. So there's this saying from this guy, what is his name now? Tim Story. He says, God's delays are not God's denials. Now, I'm not sure if you have a religious sort of foundation or whatever. So, you know, it could equally be like the creator, whatever you believe in. But it's not that you are being delayed because you're being denied. It's that you are being delayed because there are other pieces to the puzzle that perhaps you're not aware of. And so
a bit like a toddler learning to run is that sometimes they go so fast that they fall over, whereas if they slow down a bit,
yeah, and it's really, really frustrating because we were raised, all of us, on this culture of do. You are what you do. You are what you do. You are what you have. You are what other people think of you. So if you are what you do and then you don't do it, then who are you? If you are what you have and then you don't have it, who are you? If you are what everybody thinks of you and you keep meeting new people, then you have to be 25 different versions of yourself, 100 different versions of yourself. If you're, you know, doing a job where you're in front of people, you might be 5,000 different versions of yourself, depending on how big your audience is. So it's really about recognizing that everything is evolving, and it's evolving in the right time, that you're always supported, and that what's for you will never pass you by. Lots of these sort of biblical things that have been around for donkey's years, you know, there is a grain of truth in all of them. And, you know, whether you're religious or not, I find it comforting to recognize that I'm not always in charge, and that's okay. So I do what I can do when I do it. I do what I need to do. I do what I'm intuitively guided to do. I do what feels right to do. Like some of the things I've talked about tonight, people have been asking about these for a couple of years now, and I'm like, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. Now is the time. I guess just to say, like, follow your guidance, follow everything, and just do what feels like right, and what can be done, and then what can't be done, just let it go.
I've just seen what Helen's written, and actually that's kind of what I've been doing, is just thinking, right, even if I just write one sentence, it's still moving forward. Even if I come back 2 days later and cross it out, it's still progress. And
here's one other thing I'll say, which may or may not sit well with everybody, but it's kind of how it is. Whatever you're here to teach, you're here to learn, which is kind of a bit uncomfortable sometimes. It's like the universe makes sure you've got it first before you're given free rein, which is kind of good in many ways, because we don't necessarily want people to be out there without like the life experience to be able to deliver it. Otherwise, you're just reading from a book and academically theorizing. So depending on what it is that you're actually creating right now, some of what you're going through may be the test. And at the end of the week, it's like they were, okay, you learnt it now. Okay, then. Does that make sense? Sometimes I'll hear myself saying stuff and then I'll be like, yeah, okay, well, why did that happen then? And be like, oh, okay, practice what you preach.
No, it makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, if you feel like you need to go, then obviously you are so welcome.
I might do, because yeah, I was supposed to be on another call, but I actually postponed that because my voice is going.
Perfect. Well, you will have this on the replay so you can hear what everyone else shares. And here's the interesting thing, is what everybody else is going through is all relevant for each of us, because this is the collective of a group. Everybody has been drawn together from the same energy for the same reasons. Yeah. So yeah.
See you all in the group then. Thank you.
Take care. Get well.
Bye.
Oh, amazing. So Helen, how are you doing? What's going on with you?
I'm okay, thank you. I just realized actually that I'm not going to get to I'm not going to finish my goals or get to both of my goals within 25 days, because I need more time to, first of all, the health goal that I have is a long-term life change. So that's not something that I'm going to say after 25 days, okay, I've cut out this, I've cut out that, I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. And then that'll be it at the end of 25 days. So that's like an ongoing goal. But I have broken it down into steps so that I can kind of fight the challenges, which for me are patience and discipline. It's not going, it's not going quick enough for me, or and then I just sort of go a bit off track. So I've used the 8 steps to see how I can fit a different lifestyle into my life. So that's working very well. And the other goal needs a lot of work, and I'm again just setting small little deadlines for myself to say, okay, this week I'm going to block a day, and then just to brainstorm, blue sky thinking about what I want to do with my training program. And then that will kind of lead on to the next step will be brainstorming, and the next step will be mind mapping, and then that just taking it quite slowly and not rushing to prop it all and get, have the pressure of having to get to the goal within 25 days, which might not be music to your ears, Abigail. But it's going to be longer than 25 days. I know it's going to take me longer than that.
Amazing. Well, I'm not sure if you have any questions, but I'll just speak to what you said quickly. So the secret with the program, right, is that the program, most of your goals are going to take longer than 25 days, because it's about getting into momentum. But if you can start going in the 25 days, then you will be able to keep going, because you will get results in that time. Some of the goals might be smaller, and it depends where you're at in life and where you're at with all of the different types of things that you're going through. And like I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, but you've done the program a few times before. So you've sort of had the first few times of maybe smaller goals to get into the momentum, and you achieve them in those 25 days. And now you're setting yourself much, much bigger ones, where some of the stuff you're doing, it's more of like a quarter. But if I said, welcome to the program, it's 3 months, you'd be a bit like, wow. And so that's where almost with the 24 goal year, there's the option of the 3 and the 6 and the 12, because they're quarters. Because we're most of us have all got corporate backgrounds, so we understand working in quarters and working towards the targets. You don't hit that quarter, then you do it, that's your goal for the next quarter. But you know that within the year you will. So yeah, do you have any questions that are burning, or are you good?
No, not really. I think it was the the fact that I'm not going to be done 25 days, that was whereas when I'd done the program before, the goal was more suitable. The goals that I had were really suitable for doing in 25 days. So it did work, and it works. I know the program works. So I'm just stretching it out.
Amazing. Well, you're welcome to stay for longer, and or perhaps it might be that it's a next step up for more sort of help with your program and looking at it and all that kind of thing, because we can only brainstorm with the knowledge we have, which is why we brainstorm with other people who have different knowledge. But yeah, I appreciate that. Tiny, how are you doing? Welcome. You're on mute. No, there we go. Perfect. Tiny is in Amsterdam, by the way, everybody. So Helen is also in Amsterdam.
Well, in Netherlands, huh?
In the Netherlands.
Rotterdam, more like Rotterdam.
Tilburg. Utrecht.
And of course, I know Tini from
Yeah.
from IMA, from International Management Assistance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Teeny. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. I know that happens a lot.
So how are you doing? Do you have any questions?
I'm fine. I just I was also in the Sarah who left. What was her name?
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah. Starting abroad and trying to find to make the plan more smart, and I think I'm almost there, and I'm also, yeah, I want to track my week like you say in your book, and then track your week, track my week and see what comes out of that. But I think it's positive to be aware of all things but that you do in your life that may not be leading to your goal. Yeah, and things are leading to your goal, and the things that are leading to your goal. Yeah. So I'm still in the process very much. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, if you have any questions for the rest of the month, leave them in the group. I'll do a post for people to share. So fantastic. Griselda, so lovely to meet you. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did.
Perfect. Yeah. How are you doing? Do you have any questions? What's going on for you?
Yeah, so my two goals, one was a personal goal or a life goal, which actually surprisingly, I'm doing quite well on that one because I never ever finish anything I start. So it's really quite empowering to see myself move forward. I was doing a little merry jig yesterday. I sort of moved a step forward. So that's really exciting. My second goal, which was actually meant to be quite simple and straightforward, is rather the one that I'm struggling with. So for years, I used to do HIIT exercises and all sorts. I know I don't look it, but I used to try. And I started having problems with my hips. So it sort of slowed me down. And I thought, oh, if I can get back to doing some form of exercise. So I do a lot of walking, which is probably, quite a lot of walking. So long as I have time, I'll walk anywhere that's within an hour's walk. And however, I'd still like to do a few isometrics and just keeping. And so far, I've just managed a 30-second plank. So that's a bit, I should be doing better. Nothing major, but I just want maximum 10 minutes of exercise each day. And just getting back into that sort of nothing major, it's okay. I don't have to do it every day, 4 times a week is fine, nothing too onerous, but it's the one that I'm really struggling with. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas to get me started.
Griselda, I absolutely love it. And this is another thing that I'm going to be sort of bringing back again. So a couple of years ago, I created this 8-minute training. And it was an 8-minute HIIT exercise, 8-minute yoga, 8-minute journaling, 8-minute meditations. And we called it the 8-minute secret. It's been rebranded now and it's called the 8-minute recharge, because recognizing that we're all very busy people, but if you do something for 8 minutes, it can change your energy. So funny how you say about the plank. So the HIIT exercises, there's 5 exercises that you do over and over. You do 3 times and it takes 8 minutes. So one is 8 dips, 8 squats, 8 push-ups. I can't remember all the exercises now. And like a 30-second plank or something. And then you do it again. but so I actually have the videos and everything for it. So perhaps I will share some of them with you and you guys can take a look and see what you think while I'm kind of rebranding it all. But I actually got people in the office to do it, and I had videos on my old Instagram of me doing the workout in jeans because I got a chair and was doing the dips on the side of a chair. And the squats, I was like, come in here. And I just filmed them doing it. It was so hilarious. But it works because, as Samantha said, it was that momentum and it just builds, and like doing the push-ups as well. And I actually do the yoga one myself because it's a yoga flow in 8 minutes. And I think there was like 8 moves in 8 minutes was the first one that we did. And it even included like a real sort of super short meditation in there as well. I mean, it was so lovely. I did it with a yoga. It wasn't just me making up. I did the yoga one with a yoga teacher. I did the HIIT one with a personal trainer. And the meditations were recorded by a meditation teacher. So it was like all official. But yeah. So I'll share that one with you all, and you can see how it goes. But Helen's saying the thought of planking makes her break out in a sweat. But you know, it works. I can't remember. Maybe it was 8. It wouldn't have been 8-second plank. Anyway, I've lost it. But fantastic. Well, welcome to the group. I love that. And progress beats perfection. So just keep going and let's see how you go with all the 8-minute workouts. Maybe that was it. Maybe you were just waiting for an 8-minute one because, yeah. And the reason that we did it with 8, obviously I had the 8-8-8, but I kind of found 5 minutes wasn't enough. And 10 minutes sometimes was just psychologically too long. So 8, I was like, yeah, I can do 8. 8's fine. So yeah. Anyway, Samantha, welcome. How is everything going for you? What's going on? Do you have any questions?
Hi, ladies. Do you hear me all right? Just
yeah.
checking my mic. So I've been guilty of doing 100 things at once, but it seems like all the things I'm doing are sort of in parallel. So I had hypnotherapy for the first time at the weekend, and we came up with 2 goals, funny enough, in alignment with the 2 goals of this program. I'm guilty for not having read the workbook as yet because I've only just got myself a printer. So that's on my to-do list this week. But to share those 2 goals, I'm developing a business that I call the Charm Doctor, Mia's Charm Doctor, training and service, charm and manners to the luxury hospitality industry. And it's the first report of the first trip that I've done. That's the one of the 2 goals. And the other one is coming to the end of 4 years. So it's not that it will take 25 days, it's taken 4 years before. The end of my first book. I'm 5,000 words away from a 60,000 word finish line.
Wow.
My memoirs in online dating, if anyone is interested.
Oh, wow.
So those 2 actually my hypnotherapist gave me a week. So hopefully before the end of the 25 days, I can dual sort of win at his game and at your game. Not that I'm competitive at all, but my light bulb moment today, which I wanted to share just in terms of being in a safe space with people who are thinking similarly, was that something I kind of been gnawing, eating away at me for a few days, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I just had a sentiment of I'm hemorrhaging money right now. So I left tricky situation, my last work, I'm not working at the moment, looking for something to do for a few days a week, possibly while I'm bringing in my other projects, and just trying to figure out that balance. But I kind of had this sentiment that to be very frank, my multi-figure assets and savings were actually very similar to my credit card balances. So I had a look this evening, and not only are they similar, but the savings fall slightly short of the actual credit card balance. And so that was for me a real light bulb moment. And interestingly enough, while I was searching for my cards, I found this beautiful thing. It's backwards, but it says "Watch Me Grow," and it's by a local artist here. So my my growth moment is being a responsible adult and realizing that, just as you told me, Abigail, deep diving into, because in my head, I can support myself from my savings for a year while I do my projects. Actually not if I'm, up to my eyes in debt at the same time. So that realization has sort of made me make some peace with myself, I think, in that I can't do something for just 2 days a week. It needs to be more substantial. And then these projects can be done alongside those, that sort of more full-time work, or at least 3 or 6 month gig, and then see where we are at that point. So that kind of just happened in the last hour. So just to put that out there to all of you lovely ladies. If any of you have any thoughts or suggestions or advice on major life pivots, I seem to have done quite a few of them in the last few weeks. But if you, Abigail or anybody else, have any suggestions on sort of maintaining that momentum while changing direction, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And yes, you are in a safe space. And I would say that for the sort of the benefit of this conversation here, obviously the fact that it's recorded and it's going to be on replay for other members of the group who weren't necessarily here in this energy, you can pick up with these guys sort of individually for their thoughts, but you are in the right place for work in the area that you have the expertise, like Helen, and perhaps, oh God, I'm going to say Tinny,
Teeny, I think.
Teeny, Helen and Teeny, and even Karima, they've that experience. But one of the things that I would say for anybody around all of this is, like, this is the lesson that I've had to learn over and over and over again, is there's steps, there's bridges, there's projects, there's interims, there's there's ways of doing things and ways of seeing things that weren't available to us previously. We used to live in a very either or world, where you either do this or you do this. We live in a world now where if you can have some kind of foundation that you are always divinely supported, so you're not alone, and that doesn't mean others. I feel very strongly like some kind of foundation external to you is beneficial, and I would never say to anybody, like, you must have some kind of faith, but like, even if your faith is just that you have some divine support, and finding a proof of, like, when you've been looked after, like someone called you or some random thing, like, because when we're doing this and we're going somewhere we've never been before, the feeling and the belief that I'm all alone, I'm on my own, no one's ever going to get this, like, nobody's ever going to get me, you create your reality based on what you tell yourself. So if one of your foundational beliefs can be, I'm always divinely supported and guided by whatever it is you want to believe in, then it helps you to see that guidance and that intuition, like, call that person, send that email, put that ad out, make that thing, ask those people, pay that bill, promote this person to that person. Like, there's all sorts of ways that money can be made now that it didn't used to be made in the past. Like, perhaps you're really good at understanding people's needs, and perhaps you're really good at understanding people's programs, and you can connect people to people, and you get paid for connecting people to people. And that's, it's known as like an introducer fee or an affiliate fee. So there's lots of different ways that that money can flow to us now compared to how it used to.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, different referral fees come with different price things that you can find. But yeah, so I would say
it's interesting because I with my life coach, I've kind of worked on, I have sort of 3 entities that I like to kind of call into my presence when I'm focusing on something. And I have a little Cambodian bell, which I just, I love to use to kind of start a scene and end a scene, if that kind of scene as if it's a theatre show. But and I think, and I've been doing that only for a couple of days. I recently found my old shrine with all little bits that I'd gathered from people who've given me lovely things. So I think I should set that up again. Because
so I think it's about, first of all, it's about keeping open, like an open mind for whatever situation, whoever is like listening to this, like whatever situation you're going through, we are all going through our own situations, but it's keeping an open mind that there is a solution, but I just can't see it yet. So who do I need to become to see it? Because if I believe it's there, I'm already the person. So in order to see it, I need to just evolve more. So then it's, what do I need to do? Trust your intuition, trust your guidance, whatever it tells you to do. Eat the foods you're called to eat. Go outside. I went outside in the rain today. I mean, it was raining really bad.
It was really raining today.
But I had to go out. And as soon as I got out, you know, the voice in my head was like, oh no, it's raining, it's wet, you're going to get wet. And the other voice was like, go out, go out, go out. The minute I got out, I was like, this is fine. And then within an hour, it stopped raining. So then when I came home, it wasn't raining. And it was just so crazy, like the stories that are being built up around, but what do I need to do and how do I need to do it? And it's
a lot of chatter in my head right now.
And it's in all of our heads. So writing things down, I think somebody said this, writing things down on paper is so helpful. And also setting your subconscious mind the task of coming up with the answer. So here's a good one for all of you. If there's things in your head, and maybe Sarah, if you're watching this on replay, you want the name of a program, write on the piece of paper, while I sleep, please come up with the name of the program. You start talking to your subconscious mind like it's your assistant. Because it's all filed away in here, because we've read all the books, we've done all the courses, we've you know, been to all the things. So it's all in there.
You remind me of a retreat I went on where we had to write our intentions, not just handwritten, but in cursive handwriting, so that our message to the universe was not broken. I quite like that.
Amazing. So you know all the stuff, so do it before you go to bed. And the other thing is thank you before it arrives, because it's already on its way. So thank you. So hopefully that's helpful.
Sorry, I've spoken for a long time, ladies.
You gave me the opportunity to go down the spiritual rabbit hole, which I'm never unhappy about. But people in the group can reach out to Samantha if you've had any ideas, or you know anybody, because I mean, there's so many gigs going on at the moment, so many organizations are pivoting and changing, and so many entrepreneurs need support, and they don't always need full-time support because they might not be in that position. So I'm open and willing to receive the guidance. Show me, guide me, bring me. Thank you. Karima, I know you're not on camera, but do you have any questions? Do you want to speak on audio, or are you good? Oh, there she is. Hello. We can't hear you. How are you doing?
Sorry, that was me talking to myself. I just said the light is not very good in here, so you can't see. No, I don't have any questions.
No. How are you going with your goals? Are you all right?
Yeah, I think so. It's like having this, you know, stairs ahead of me, like a flight of stairs, and I'm sort of plodding up one by one. So no, it's going good. I've been doing something every single day. There's just little things. You know, I went to the dump again today, went to the recycling centre, had my whole car full of like 6 boxes and just chucking things away. And it's just, oh, this is so great. And it's like, I went down there and I've been putting this off, even if I wasn't going to go to UK. I could have done this years ago. But I was always thinking, oh, I might need this and I might need that. And now looking at it going, this is all rubbish. It's just absolute stuff I've kept out of, some of them out of sentimental value. And I'm just thinking, I don't need this. You know, now it's, you know, having this hard end goal, or not a goal, but this hard deadline where I need to be going and I need to keep things to a minimum. It's making it actually a lot easier to throw things away.
Amazing.
So that's really good. And I've been finding out lots of admin stuff, kind of work out my contracts, what can I cancel, how do I do this, how do I do that, what do I do with my pension, and kind of getting answers for things that I wasn't aware of. So yeah, that's good. So I'm just plodding on, but sometimes there's days where I just think, what the hell am I doing? You know, this move back. I always said, like, when I got my citizenship in 2018, 4 years ago, I never ever had considered coming back to UK. I was like, I'm not going back to Brexit UK. What am I doing? And then you end up meeting someone, and yeah, the rest is history, right? So yeah, but sometimes it's really overwhelming. I just sit there and I think, I don't know, I just get times where I'm just so overwhelmed that I just start crying, just from all this pent up thing just boiling up. It's like this pot which is boiling away, and sometimes it just needs to let off the steam. So it's not a negative crying. It's just like I need to release this whatever's inside me, you know.
So that is absolutely amazing. Just sort of for the record, emotions need to be released. If we keep them in us, then it just gets trapped in us, and it gets trapped over years, and then it just, you know, becomes a heck of a big therapy bill. So when you're crying, you're releasing tension. And as you're saying, it's not sad, it's release. So you have to trust your body, trust your intuition. A big thing I would say is make sure that you write down all the things that you've to do, but also write down all the things.
I've got my to-do list.
Write down all the things that you have done, so that you can tick it off, so that you can keep a track of the progress. Because you'll forget now that you went to the dump 6 times, you know, today.
I've actually started taking photos as well.
Brilliant.
So when I go, I'll take a picture. This is what my cell looks like today. This is what my cell looks like a month later and a month later, and sort of see things getting less and less, and see the to-do list kind of with all these things, you know, struck through. And it's like, oh, isn't that great? Look how much I've done. So at times when I look around and go, oh my God, I've still got so much. I look at what I've done and think, look what I've done in 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks and I still have got 7 months ahead of me. So I try and think of it that way, that it'll work out, and try not to stress too much. But sometimes there's times where I'm like, oh, you know, I'm trying to do the things that I can control right now, and other things are, you know, it's just little things like, you know, I've got all these books. What do I do with all these books? You know, I called the library. I called up 3 libraries. None of them wanted my books. Oh, it's too much work to process it all. And I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, it's brand new books. They're kids' books. They're clean books. So I thought, right, so now I'm going to go into the city and give them to Oxfam and at least give them to a good cause. But it's finding the time to go to the city, drive into the city, drop the stuff off, drive back again. And, you know, it's all this planning. But yeah, I do a little bit every day. That way I feel like I'm making progress. Because I know what happens. It's like when I have an appointment at 5 o'clock in the evening, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, I go, got tons of time. And then suddenly you're like, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock, shit, I'm gonna get out of the house. So I'm just thinking I look at it this way, like months. It feels like it's just not even February yet, March. And it's October. It's like, yes, but October is gonna be here before you know it. And so I just think, you know, I have to start now. I cannot wait until, you know, summertime and then start panicking. So let's see. But yeah, it's a big step. Scary. But I'll be close to everyone. I mean, all the people at least in the UK, I'll be closer to them. I'll be able to do more more networking with people, with coaching, networking as well, which I don't have any network with other coaches here. It'll be so much easier to network with the Animas guys as well. Go to meetings now that Corona sort of, it's still there, but in UK it's a lot more relaxed. Let's put it that way. People are meeting up.
Yeah,
So.
right now. No, well, I love it, and I love your realizations and your awareness that it's beneficial to break it all down. I had to move to Australia from the UK, pack up a flat, sell a flat, and do it all in about a month. So I hear you on the books. I just took bags and bags of books to the charity shop and just said, here you go. Like the books that I'd bought on the personal development journey, there was a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing. So as we wrap up this call, is there anything else? Yes, I've just seen what Samantha's written there. Does anybody feel like they've learned so much? So if you imagine, like, our brains are computers that we've been filling full of data, filling. And at some point we have to empty this data out, and or just trust our intuition, trust our gut, because you can't unlearn what you've learned.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I would say is you don't know if you're not doing it. So out of all the courses and the trainings and the books and everything, what are you actually doing as a result of everything? And it's almost like, sounds like your intuition is guiding you to say, you've got this bell, use it, because that vibration does change energy. So I would say that what you've learned isn't lost, and it's going to come up. But the biggest thing is, some point we've got to stop cramming and learning. Which is why, if you've done my time management stuff, I tend not to talk too much about more time management things. I'm like, right, let's excavate like why it's not working, because there's a reason why you're not doing the things you actually already know. My book is like short for a reason, chatty for a reason. It's not a gigantic book full of loads more theory, because I don't truly believe that we need loads more theory. We need action taking. But anyway, so yes, I hope that that is helpful.
And being the eternal student and less the doer.
Yeah, well, with this action student, I think it is good to learn, but it's good to that the lessons you're learning are from the actions you're taking, so that then you can say, I tried this, I did this didn't work, that didn't work, but I've recognized it's because perhaps I don't need this, I need more, or I need this, or I'm ready for the next step, and I hadn't realized how ready I am for the next step. And that's actually scary in itself, because what would that next step look like? And quite often we're afraid of our own success versus failure. It's crazy, because who will I be then? And identity is a huge one if we're transitioning from one world to another world. And like that corporate identity, like I said earlier, of your business card. I remember when I first started my business and I phoned someone up and they were like, who are you? Who do you work for? And I was a bit like, myself? Yeah, okay, thanks then. And I was so used to saying like the bank I'd worked for, the hedge fund I'd worked for, and they were like, yeah, okay, we'll book it in. And it was like, you're nobody. So then I was like, oh, okay, right, wow. Let's start. But yeah, amazing.
Your personal experience, Abigail, we spoke about it very briefly when we had a Zoom call. Do you have that documented anywhere in terms of your own personal story? I'd love to know more.
I have never written out my personal story, the highs, the lows, everything. I documented recently the countries I've been to and put that on my Instagram. That was really interesting. Someone came back and said, you've not been to South Africa? I said, no, not yet, but I have been to 50 other countries in the world, some multiple times, but I've not been to South Africa. But yeah.
Well, if you need a ghostwriter.
Yeah. Well, it's very, very interesting that people are in these pivot kind of multi-option kind of career paths. Yeah, amazing. So if there's nothing else, then we will call this complete, and between now and the next session, you will be emailed a link to do your end of program assessment for yourself, so that you can evaluate how you think you've performed, so that you've got something to compare to what you said at the start. Because I always think, as I was saying to Karima, like it's so important that we can track the things so that we can then see like what has gone on really, and we can give ourselves credit for the journey. So use the group, post in it, tell people what you're up to, and it's amazing how supportive everybody is. But yeah, otherwise,
Thank you, Abigail.
thank you very much. And I will see you again in the group or online somewhere else very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Amazing. All right, guys, take care.